option 1 is not going to work. Option 1 would have been being able to bolt this down to the pan and use it. It sits too high. It creates the same issue I had in the beginning. It sits too high. My second consideration was that I could undo all of this, take it off, and see if I could stretch it down, so I would have this style seat with the bits of foam underneath, which isn't much by the way, and stretch it around. My guess is that that would just be ruining the seat, and it wouldn't stretch that far. Also, the foam, like I said, the foam in here is really thin. I mean, that is the foam, look. So you'd have to take all the staples out. We've got this much overhang, and actually we've got a fair amount at the back and a fair amount at the front. It may actually be an option. So you'd be stretching that over the original pan, and then what would hold that down? It'd have to be a glue, surely. On the original seat, it's a clip system. It's this clip system here. It clips around, but there's no way of putting that onto the other system. So that's an option there. Stretch it around, make it kind of a custom seat with that look. It's kind of option. It's not really option 1 because it's not easily doable. Option 2. Take this massive wedge of foam and you put it back where it sits. I mean, look at that. How ridiculous is that? Well, why is it sitting higher than the tank? Look. Right. You take this foam, yes? You cut out... What is that? Just under 3/4 of an inch? And you seat it back down. You get an original seat cover, although we're now going back to it won't clip on. You get an original seat cover, and you would pull it all down so it sits thinner, pull it under and seal it. And then you still have your original seat. It would still pivot up, it will still lock into here. All of that would still work. That is almost definitely the route it goes down. Normally we would use staples to put that on, so it'd have to be a glue again, some sort of contact adhesive or something. Okay, that is the kind of option. Now, I mean, I'm quite happy to measure and cut the foam today with a big saw. Yeah. One of my concerns was that the diameter at the top was less than the bottom, but actually it's not. The bottom is exactly the same size all the way around. All you'd need to do is measure up, you know, how what 3 centimeters, dot, put a line through it, do the same all the way around, and then cut it smoothly through, and then you just seat that down a fair amount actually. In my head that's gonna work. Then you'd be thinking about what cover do I get. The original wouldn't work because of the reason I said. So if you'd put the original cover on like that, the only way to get it on to the here is to use this clip here, because it clips at the back. But we'd be overriding that clip, wouldn't we? What we'd need to do actually is cut the clip off the new one. The new one's like 50 quid, and it will look like this, which will kind of suit the bike. If I could get one that colour, I'd probably go that colour. Cut it, stretch it round and glue it on. I think that would work. I think John Freed would prefer the originality tweak, is my guess. And at the moment he's the guy I've got in mind when I do anything. When I'm talking about cutting the pan, he's the conscience on my shoulder. And I know what he's going to say anyway. Alright, I'm going to measure and cut that foam. It's really scary actually, because again Like foams, there's not much out there, but you can always get you can always get foam, can't you? So we can always cut a new piece. I don't know if we'd shape it, but we could. Let me do that. I'm going to measure and cut and see how it sits. Okay, so there's the slice. You kind of, it's hard to see. It's hard to see how much was taken out because remember it has to be compressed down, so it would be kind of sitting, pulled down, and then stretched under. What I can do before putting it on is like put some gaffer tape around, or for example, to kind of get it seated in place so that we know roughly what we're looking at. A part of me really wants to pull that off and see if it will stretch, because I don't think we're ever going to use that, and then the other part of me doesn't want to break it. I'm going to think about that, but yeah, so it would sit flush. What I might need to do is kind of take some of the contours out so that it does sit a bit flusher, but it will be pulled down. And then what I'm going to do is, let me do what I said. I'm going to put some tape around it and just show you guys how, with it sitting a bit more flush. So, easier said than done, but forget that the tape's there. We're just looking at the profile. And actually, we can shape this now. We can make this how we want to. We could skim a little bit more off the back. We're a bit puffy here, although it would have been like that for a passenger. There was a step up here, so that's normal. I mean, it still sits a bit higher than I'd like, but I think we will take some of the spring out of it when we eventually cover it. I think we'd be taking out some of the spring. I think I might like to look at, I know there's a bit of a bulge under here, except for the natural cut of the foam. There's a kind of sticky up bit under there. I might kind of take out that section to help it sit. The front sits well, I think. And remember, the cover will go all the way under, so the cover will come under here, so it will look one piece. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little play with it, see how I can get it. I did want it looking a little bit trimmer, but it has to match the shape of the pan. We've got no choice, and unless you trim down the pan, which we shouldn't do really. Okay. Alright, well, this is my task for today. I haven't got much on. My task for today is to do something with the seat. I obviously haven't got a new cover. I'm still tempted to try and do something with that. And we'll see what happens. So this cover's not far from going on. It's not far at all, and it will look really good. I can't stretch it past this bit here, the metal of the frame. But I can get all the rest up to here. I'd be nuts not to cut a section off the pan. I'd basically need to cut kind of this up here, along this line, up here, along the back, and then I'd be able to seat this appropriately, and it will actually look really good. But more importantly, all of its fixtures and fittings to lock it down, for it to pivot, would all still be in place. So I think I'm going to take off a section here with the Dremel. I think I'd be nuts not to, guys, because look, we're close. What's up? I mean, we're very, very short on options, Rabjab. No matter what we do, even if I buy the original cover now, it doesn't fit this pan, because I want the foam to be trimmer. Alright? I want the foam to be more like that, trimmer. And what I did was I cut the original foam to be like that. So we can use the foam under here. We will be using the foam under here. But we've got a really nice cover here that can fit and will fit. And I think we'd be nuts not to. So I'll be chopping all the way up to there. I think I'm going to do that, guys. I think, you know, there's no point. How will it sit? My biggest concern is how it will sit back here. Will it still have shape? So I'd be losing this section here. Yeah, I think it's going to work. I'm going to look into this, guys, and if I do that, then you'll see it. That will be the plan. So it'll be something like cutting up here, along here, around there, back down and down to there. So it'll be just that section there. So, and the reality is that wouldn't affect an original cover or seat going back on, which is perfect. That's great news. So I think that has to be the plan. Up here, along this edge here, probably along here, and down there, and following the same route. I'll draw it. So me being me, I'm going down another route. I kind of looked at all the other options, including that, and none of it's particularly viable. None of it achieves what I want it to achieve. So I've gone back to this, but while it's all split apart, what I'm actually doing is fitting the mounting points. Look, I've got one already. See there? So I'm fitting the mounting points so that I can mount it to the bike. This, I don't know why I didn't even think of this before. I couldn't work out how to put mounting points on that. That's the only reason I wasn't using it. And now I can. The only slight issue is that this one here won't fit unless I make a bracket coming out, which would be fine, actually. I'll show you what I mean, because... Oh, hang on, it's closer than I thought, actually. Maybe it will. I'm surprised. Rabjab's turned the phone onto what, Rabjab's? Onto a different setting. What have you put the phone on? 1080p 60. So I don't know if this footage is different. It might be different to earlier, but we'll have a look and see if it's better or worse. Apparently this phone does 4K, Rabjab says, but I've never. It does or doesn't? Yeah, it do. It does. So I'll play around with the settings. Maybe we'll get some better footage. But I think this is a brilliant idea. I don't know why I didn't get to this earlier. So I'm going to keep hacking away at this for now and see if I can get both mounting points on. In fact, all three mounting points on. And if I can, I'll be ecstatic. So, bloody long day. What did we achieve in that bloody long day? We got our bolted unlockable seat pan on. Bang smack in the middle. Don't know how I got there, but we got there. Now I've got to take it home and get the staples back in. I'm extremely pleased.